a limit on anything.
The more you dream,
the further you get.
If we all did the things that we are capable of doing,
we would literally astound ourselves.
Most revolutions begin in the margins. We can see that in many famous people for whom school never worked. Everybody from Einstein to George Lucas to Jack Horner, the paleontologist, are people for whom school was too narrow. They were marginalized. Students in the margins, as in any revolution, are pointing the way toward the future.
If you can dream it, you can do it.
Human brains are very diverse. I hate the word disability. Disability is inaccurate based on the research. There's just as much brain anatomy and circuitry devoted to music as there is to language-based skills, but we consider it optional. I don't think that there's anything demonstrably wrong with the brains of the great bulk of children who have learning disabilities and ADHD.
My learning disabilities
Push me to discover talents
that I wasn't aware of having.
There's nothing in the brain that was designed to read. People think of it as a natural task when it really isn't. From an evolutionary perspective, we haven't had enough time to develop brain areas that are specifically there for reading. We have to think of the brain being coerced into a process that it really wasn't designed to do. It's just that reading has such an important role in our society right now that as you struggle to deal with that skill, you all of a sudden become labeled as having a disorder.
normal. There's nothing more than a cycle and a washing machine.
All those other schools, it's just like everyone's different from you. And when you go to the lab school, it's like your family.
Over the years, we came to see that the schools were disabling kids because they had narrow ways of expression, narrow means of representation, narrow means of engagement. A lot of kids were left out.
I was on page 6 and everyone was on page 16, and when I came to lab school, everyone was on the same page, and I just felt like I was home.
The lab school is indeed on the cutting edge of methodology for teaching and learning.
Okay, industrialists, you're working on your self-portrait. Make sure they look like they're from the 1880s.
A school curriculum based on arts-infused learning is now something that neuroscience, cognitive science, and educational research is showing works.
Let's check out this invention. This was a tricycle for tourists.
What we found is that for long-term retention, they're remembering that information better if they learned the content through the arts.
A lot of schools think what we got to do is teach them things and then they'll finally get engaged, and that's the wrong way. Lab school realizes engagement comes first. Let's engage them in rich learning environments.
Arts-infused education really is a way to connect them emotionally with the content they're learning, and so they become better students.
Being in an environment that's educated, that's supportive, that has insights into that student is so important. I think the lab school for many, many years has been known for really recognizing that learning can happen through many avenues and really allowing kids to reach their potential.
people in the margins are where there's tremendous gifts, tremendous talents, precisely because they bring different points of view, different ways of being smart. George Lucas made storytelling richer. Jack Horner reinvented paleontology because he didn't look at it in a narrow way. And Einstein, of course, changed the way we view the whole universe.
Logic will take you from A to B. Imagination will take you everywhere.
The lab school needs to be seen as a model of what schools should look like for everybody. And it's precisely because they've concentrated on the kids for whom traditional schooling hasn't worked that they've invented a better kind of school.
So what are some other great things about living in D.C.?
You can't find lab school in Washington anywhere else in the world.